Annika, I'm hoping that we have a clear line to you now and we'll be able to hear you clearly. You were in the middle of telling us, yes, the background to the story and just, what the actual issue was and what the reasoning behind this decision by the police minister was when it came to Robert McBride and his appointment.
That's right, two very outspoken characters in a bitter battle of words ahead of this portfolio committee, letters going back and forth as to why Robert McBride's contract should not be renewed for another 5 years by the police minister. The police minister saying that there's prima facie evidence of misconduct, that Robert McBride is not fit and proper to hold his position, that the complaint to the public protector, including allegations of irregular recruitment, abuse of power and purging of staff, has not been completed, and that really renewing his position would undermine the integrity of the Constitution. Fresh allegations also arising that Robert McBride accepting all sorts of bribe from people in the underworld here in Cape Town and the cigarette manufacturer Adriano Mazzotti. So Robert McBride writing to MPs and saying this is nothing but a false narrative to undermine him, to make sure that he doesn't tackle corruption at the highest level, and that he's involved in very, very sensitive, politically minded investigations at the moment, and that's why the police minister wants to get rid of him. Now, very unusually, Yuveka, MPs are sitting here on a Friday. They usually go home on a Thursday night to get to their constituencies, but the deadline for Robert McBride's renewal is on, as you said, on the 28th of February. So the Police Portfolio Committee is seized with it today as per court order, and they're going to have to do a lot of work, possibly even on the weekend, to get this matter resolved within the next few days.
And Annika, if you know, what is that work? What is it within their ambit to actually do? Is it a type of investigation? Do they call in other people and say, you've worked with Robert McBride? What kind of guy is he? Is he the right? How does it actually work? How does this portfolio committee actually decide this? And like you say, probably having to work over a weekend, how much can they actually get done?
Well, Robert McBride's written to the Portfolio Committee and he says he would like to make oral submissions. He would like to be present to defend himself. He doesn't just want written letters from his lawyers back and forth outlining as to why his term should be extended. So I should think that they'll call in the legal advisor to Parliament to discuss A, the court ruling, and B, why this isn't an executive decision that should be made by the police minister, but why Parliament really has to decide whether to renew that term or not. As I say, it tends to be better from a continuity point of view to extend a 5-year term so that if there are sensitive political investigations, there's no interference from whatever administration is currently in place.
And if Robert McBride has no joy here with the committee, Annika, if not him as IPID head, then who are we looking at?
Well, the Portfolio Committee has to make a recommendation to the National Assembly, and the National Assembly can either uphold its recommendations or not. The recommendations also have to go to the Speaker of Parliament of the National Assembly, Baleka Mbete, and she has to make a decision. So I think that there are a few steps that still need to be taken before the Portfolio Committee make a decision. But Robert McBride is fighting very hard. I think we'll probably see him here in Parliament making oral submissions yet next week as per his request. And possibly too the police minister Becky Cele, who says really that Robert McBride is not the right man for the job, and despite his success with dealing with corrupt police such as possibly the former police commissioner Kgomotso Phahlane, etc., he has got such a black cloud hanging over his head that it's time for a new police watchdog head.
All right, thanks very much for that, Annika Larson. She's outside Parliament, where the Parliamentary Portfolio Committee will have to decide on Robert McBride's future and his appointment as IPID head.